The 2nd century after Christ was a period of profound historical importance in Judea, under the shadow of Roman occupation. The region experienced a crucial intersection of political, religious, and cultural factors. The Temple of Jerusalem, central to religious and cultural life, became a focal point of conflict and power. Roman occupation imposed a system of government that limited the autonomy of local authorities, creating a complex relationship between Jewish religious leaders and Roman authorities. This Roman imposition directly influenced daily life, culture, and governance in Judea. The occupation not only brought with it a dominant military presence, but also established a system of taxation and political control. The temple, as a spiritual and religious epicenter, attracted thousands of pilgrims annually, giving it religious significance and high political value. In this context of Roman occupation and intense religious tensions, figures like Caiaphas and Annas emerged as influential leaders. Their positions as high priests not only placed them at the center of Jewish religious life, but also transformed them into crucial political figures, with power over the temple and its practices. In this video, we see all the events involving these important figures in the history of the Bible. The relationship between Jewish religious leaders and the Romans was characterized by constant tension, driven by fear of revolts and the pursuit of preserving privileges. This historical context is essential for understanding the actions and decisions of figures like Caiaphas and Annas, especially regarding the arrest, trial, and crucifixion of Jesus. The pursuit of autonomy, the preservation of order in the temple, and the complex relationships between Jewish and Roman authorities made this period a crucial chapter in the history of Judea in the 2nd century after Christ, leaving a legacy of events that continue to influence the understanding of biblical and historical narrative. Anna and Caiaphas held prominent positions in the context of Judea in the 2nd century after Christ. Both were prominent religious leaders, playing crucial roles in the Temple of Jerusalem and the Jewish community of the time. Anna held the office of high priest not just once but multiple times, establishing a priestly dynasty in his family. This repetition of the office further underscored his importance in the religious leadership of the time. Additionally, Anna established a kind of priestly dynasty, instituting a system of appointments within his family, ensuring the continuity of religious power within his lineage. While serving as high priest, Anna wielded considerable influence over the Temple of Jerusalem, overseeing and administering sacrifices and ensuring compliance with religious laws. His position extended beyond religious matters to include control over temple revenues and financial transactions, including currency exchange. However, his reputation for corruption and association with questionable practices shed light on his complex personality. In turn, Caiaphas married Anna's daughter and was appointed high priest around the year 18 AD, marking a crucial point in biblical narrative. This marriage cemented a powerful alliance between two prominent families in Judea. Upon becoming Anna's son-in-law, Caiaphas not only established a personal connection, but also entered into a priestly dynasty that exerted significant control over religious and political affairs in the region. This priestly dynasty was characterized by considerable continuity in the exercise of the high priesthood. Both Anna and 5 of his sons, along with Caiaphas, held the office of high priest. This succession not only illustrates the close relationship between these two figures, but also highlights the lasting influence of the family on the religious leadership of Judea. Caiaphas was known for his cunning, opportunism, and relentless pursuit of power. His ability to navigate the political and religious dynamics of the time placed him in a prominent position. Anna and Caiaphas belonged to a sect that did not believe in the resurrection of the dead or the final judgment. This sect had distinct beliefs that set them apart from other Jewish currents of the time. Their specific beliefs shaped their approaches to religious and political matters, influencing their decisions and actions during this critical period. Both of these leaders emerged in a context of Roman occupation, playing crucial roles in the plot that culminated in the crucifixion of Jesus. Understanding who Anna and Caiaphas were helps uncover the historical events of this period. In the turbulent landscape of Judea under Roman oppression, Jewish leaders faced a constant dilemma between preserving order in the Temple of Jerusalem and yielding to the demands of Roman authorities seeking to maintain political control and prevent uprisings. Anna and Caiaphas, as prominent figures, played crucial roles in this complex context. Religious leadership feared popular revolts and the loss of privileges under Roman rule. Jesus' role in spreading the growth of Christianity was revolutionary and challenging to the established structures of Judea. His teachings and miracles attracted a growing community of followers that caused concern and fear among religious leaders, especially Caiaphas and Anna, who feared that God would lead to a revolt of the population. Roman occupation had already generated tensions, and the possibility of a charismatic figure uniting the masses around ideas that challenged established authorities was cause for great apprehension. This fear led to the conception of a plan for the capture and imprisonment of Jesus. Caiaphas and Anna sought a more cautious approach, deciding to act discreetly without attracting the attention of the people, but ensuring that Jesus was neutralized before his growing influence became a real threat. The plan was meticulously crafted. Caiaphas, known for his political astuteness, led the initiative. Taking advantage of the betrayal of Judas Iscariot, one of Jesus' closest followers, Caiaphas and Anna found an ideal opportunity to achieve their goals. Judas, motivated by personal reasons or disillusionment, offered to secretly deliver Jesus. Thus, at the right moment, when Jesus was out of the public eye and in an environment less likely to cause a stir, the plan was put into action. The arrest took place during the night, eliminating the possibility of an immediate reaction from the masses. Caiaphas and Anna, concerned with preserving order and their authority, ensured that the arrest of Jesus was conducted without clamor, thus avoiding the risk of an imminent revolt. Confronted with the plot against Jesus, Caiaphas played a prominent role in the Sanhedrin, the Jewish council of religious leaders, skillfully manipulating the trial to justify Jesus' condemnation. His political cunning was evident in advocating that sacrificing Jesus was necessary to prevent riots and maintain peace in the nation. This strategy aimed to preserve not only political stability, but also the privileges and power of religious leadership. Facing Pilate, the Roman governor, Jesus encountered a staged trial marked by false accusations. Caiaphas, representing the Jewish leadership, pressed for a decision that would culminate in crucifixion. Caiaphas's motivations were clear. The elimination of Jesus was perceived as a necessary measure to preserve control and avoid any perceived threats to religious and political authority. The decision to crucify Jesus was not just an act of punishment, but a calculated strategy to protect the interests of Jewish religious leadership. Anna and Caiaphas, amid their tensions and fears, played a decisive role in this outcome. The crucifixion of Jesus became an emblematic event, highlighting the complexity of the relationships between Jewish leaders and Roman authorities in Judea. After Jesus' death, the period following the crucifixion revealed a persistence of Caiaphas' influence, as he refused to accept evidence of Jesus' resurrection. Their refusal to acknowledge this transformative event demonstrates the resistance of Jewish religious leadership to accepting any challenge to their established authority. Caiaphas' denial of accepting the resurrection was not just a matter of theological disagreement, but also a reaction to an event that shook the foundations of religious leadership at the time. Jesus' resurrection represented a validation of the messages and teachings he had imparted, something Caiaphas and his contemporaries were unwilling to accept, as it would call into question their authority and decisions made against Jesus. In addition to his refusal to accept the resurrection, Caiaphas played an active role in persecuting Jesus' followers. These persecutions were an extension of Jewish leadership's resistance to the spread of new beliefs that emerged around the figure of Jesus. Caiaphas, representing a religious authority feeling threatened by the growing Christian communities, sought to suppress the spread of what he considered a threat to the established order. Caiaphas' involvement in the persecutions included authorization for the arrest of Jesus' followers, and even authorization for the persecution of prominent figures, such as Stephen, one of the early deacons of the early Christian church. His staunch position against Christians reflected his determination to maintain the cohesion and authority of Jewish leadership, even in the face of the growing Christian movement challenging their traditional beliefs. Anna, in turn, after playing a prominent role in the religious leadership of Judea, had a fate that extended beyond the events surrounding Jesus' death. His reputation for corruption and excesses in religious practices marked him as a controversial figure. After Jesus' crucifixion, Anna continued to exert his influence in the Temple of Jerusalem. His prominent position was not limited only to the immediate period following Jesus' death, but extended, showing the resilience of his authority even in the face of political and religious changes. However, there are historical documents indicating that Anna eventually met his end at the hands of the Romans around the 70s. This event marked the end of Anna's life, but his influence and fame endured even after his death. Anna's reputation for corruption was associated with questionable practices in the temple, including the trading of animals and the exchange of coins, as mentioned in the Gospels. These commercial activities in the temple, while lucrative, contributed to Anna's and other religious leaders' poor reputation at the time. Anna's continued influence after Jesus' death can be observed in the subsequent actions of his descendants. The priestly dynasty founded by Anna lasted, with some of his sons and relatives holding the office of high priest. On the other hand, unfortunately, we have no information about Caiaphas' death. Although mentioned in the Bible, We know nothing about how he died, and no hypothesis about his death can be taken as historically proven. However, we have a very curious fact. Later, when workers were building a road in a park south of ancient Jerusalem, archaeologists came across a tomb that, upon examination, turned out to be the final resting place of members of the Caiaphas family. The tomb, dating back further, bore the inscription of the name Joseph, identified as a son of the Caiaphas family. This discovery brought to light not only the existence of the tomb, but also sparked heated debates about its authenticity. The authenticity of the discovery has been questioned by some scholars and archaeologists, generating intense debate within the academic community. Advocates for authenticity point to the correlation between the description of the tomb and the historical accounts of Flavius Josephus, a historian of the time. The inscription of the name Joseph, son of the Caiaphas family, aligns with the narratives documented by Flavius Josephus, adding a level of credibility to the discovery. However, skeptics question the authenticity based on various points, including the possibility of forgery or selective interpretation of evidence. The debate remains open, and archaeologists continue to examine the tomb for further clues that may shed light on its origin and connection to Caiaphas. The biblical narrative with Caiaphas and Anna as central characters invites reflection on the nature of power, the responsibility of leadership, and the ethical challenges that arise when personal interests clash with higher principles. It also shows how abused political power, evil, and envy can ruin our lives and influence others around us.